Here we are back on the platform, and we are talking about getting fit in diverse ways, in a good many ways. And Ethan Quant and Candice Eldon, they are saying to us today that it's more than physical, it's emotional, among other things. And I'm particularly interested in the emotional one, because a whole lot of people emotionally unfit,
right,
in our country, and it is causing a tremendous amount of stress,
yeah,
and even violence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know the thing is, all right. So on Saturday, January 20th, like I said, we have therapist and life coach Harrison Thompson, who's going to be speaking specifically to emotional health, right? And so he's going to give some information with regards to, and it's really just designed to be an introduction of sorts, right? But the Jumpstart Health Coaching and Lifestyle program that we run, we cover that topic as far as mental and emotional health in depth throughout the 12 weeks. And so really, when you sit down and you're absolutely right, Mr. Jones, we do have a challenge with those even who don't act out violently. You know, there's a lot. I just had a client yesterday tell me that, you know, she's doing so well. She started walking and she's eating salads, and physically she's doing well and she's making progress. The minute I asked her, so how are your stress levels, she started getting stressed. Because we do, and this is something why we urge corporate Bahamas to participate in the Road to Wellness, maybe sponsor a team for UB-FIT, because we do have a lot of Bahamians who go to work under very strenuous conditions. And so even with my company, Elite Wellness Solutions, we really go after the corporate Bahamas and work with companies who want to build a culture of wellness within the organization, because we do realize that some people just don't know how to cope. And it isn't that they act out because they're bad people, they just don't know how to cope. And so we have to provide the tools and the resources and the guidance and the support to help our people cope.
A culture of wellness, you say?
Yes, to build a culture of wellness within the organization.
We need a culture of wellness in the country.
I agree, and that's why this initiative is designed to be a community outreach initiative. I mean, yes, the proceeds are going to a very worthy cause, but participating in the Road to Wellness really makes you that much better. We have, my personal mantra for 2018 is Transformation 2018. Transform myself, transform the world, right? And the reality is that if all of us take ourselves into consideration and really try to work on being the best version of ourselves, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, of course, we find that it has a ripple effect. And we really, like I said before, you know, everybody come out on Saturday, January 20th, just get some information, man, so we could start.
The best version of yourself.
Yes, the best version of yourself.
You are the best version of yourself, man?
I'm a work in progress, sir.
You're a work in progress.
Yes.
But aren't we all?
Yes.
We all should be.
Yes. We all
Some
should
people
be.
just ain't working at all.
Some people are not working at it at all.
At all. Some people don't know where to begin.
And so these resources are here to help you start.
Yeah.
You know, we sit on average 12 hours a day when it's not in your car or at your office. We sit too much. We don't move enough. And essentially we get stuck. We get stuck in a rut with our eating and with our mind and in every way. And so this Road to Wellness is a national thing, because we want companies to say, you know what, my employees need a break. My employees need a jump start, a new chance. I can have a more productive employee, a citizen, if I make sure that they have the resources and the tools they need to be better. And so that's what we're about. We don't want this just to start and stop. This is a movement, we're calling it, at the University of the Bahamas.
But there are sometimes people around you who make it very difficult for you to be your best self.
Yes.
It might be your children. You might have small kids.
I have 2 kids.
Do you really?
I have a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old boys.
So you are challenged, aren't you?
Oh, they keep me busy.
I'm sure, I'm sure. And there are people around you who make it very difficult for you to be your best self. And no matter what you do, you have these challenges
Mr. Jones, I'll have to disagree with you there, right? Simply because.
But she agrees with me.
Well,
There are
that's fine.
challenges, however,
She
you
agrees
have
with
to,
me. She
you have to
has
rise above it.
two very hyperactive children.
But I manage them.
And she has to be on her P's and Q's all the time.
Well, that
And
is
so she's challenged.
But that is contributing to her being her best self. Like
They're pushing me to
and
be a better
why I
person.
say I disagree with you in this sense. Let me qualify that statement.
Okay.
You are responsible for you and you alone, right? And so you can be the best basketball player that you can be at 5'2".
Stick a pin right there. Because sometimes you are also responsible for other persons. You say that you are only responsible for you and you alone. She is responsible for herself, and she is responsible for those other children. And I don't know anybody else, but certainly your children.
Right.
So you are responsible for more than yourself.
I could appreciate that.
Okay.
But even, I mean, since we're using
Use me as an
Candice as an example, right?
Well, you can use yourself too.
It is in Candice's best interest, and in the best interest of her two boys, to be the best version of herself. And so, as a version of herself, she is a mother, but she is also an employee at the university. She's a wife, she's a friend, she's a daughter, and so she has all of these different roles to play and to satisfy, but at the end of the day, she will add more value to each one of those roles in her life as long as she's adding value to herself. And that is something that I find common in my practice, that is, we tend to put so many people before us, but if we take the time to invest the energy, efforts, and resources into ourselves, we can be better for all of those people that we have responsibilities for. And that is what I believe, and I do believe that there's always a way to make yourself better. And this road to wellness is one of those things, and those are some of the areas and the topics that we're going to be covering over the next 12 weeks to give people the resources, to show you how to manage work and life and kids and career and all of these different challenges that life comes. Because I agree with you, some people don't know how to cope with the challenges, but you have the professionals in place at the University of Bahamas for the UBFIT Road to Wellness who are going to give you the tools necessary so that you can start working on and building your best self.
Mr. Quarters, that sounds very interesting, and you have articulated it well, but there's a cost associated with everything. And I'm not just talking about the cost of getting involved in your program, the $25. I'm talking about the cost of just living on a daily basis.
Right.
Because even after registering in the program, how do I get there? There are any number of variables.
Yes.
That go into participating in that type program and being focused on the program, because life is not about peaches and cream. There are all kinds of hills and valleys.
Yes.
Yes, but you have to make a choice. It's about choice. You have to choose yourself. Save yourself so you can save others.
And there are people who are struggling with various health issues.
Yes.
Who would really want to participate in this program. And they can't even be their best selves because of these health challenges. So what do you say to them?
My question is, what are you going to do about it? You no matter where you are, case in point, even in understanding and knowing Mr. Peter Nygaard, right? I know him and I know his story. At 66, he decided that he wanted to do something and get better. He wanted to improve his health, and he changed how he ate. He went on a personal journey to get healthy and fit. And you know what happened? He actually got healthy and fit. And he looks better now at 77 than he did at 66. But what that also did was he then transferred that into his business life. And so when you look at the companies and the policies that he has and the programs that he's running in his business life, those are consistent with the personal choices that he's made to make a healthier life for himself. I bring that up because I say no matter where you are in life, you have a choice. And so you can decide or you can choose to live with your illness and not do anything about it, or you can choose to do something about it. Now, what you do is also depending upon the resources that you have, but you do have a choice to do something. Nobody does not have a choice to do anything. You always have a choice.
You have options.
You always have options.
And there's no doubt that Peter Nygaard will tell you that, you know, the challenges that he would have, they are a myriad of challenges
Right.
that he would have, that you would not have an inkling what he's going through. But you're talking about management of self.
Right, management of self. And just the fact that, you know, a lot of people do feel that they have no options.
Yeah.
But, you know, and that's part of what we'll be covering as far as the emotional health, to let you know that you do have options. There is always an option.
Yeah. I'm reading a book currently called How Do You Measure Your Life?
Wow, who's that by?
I can't remember.
Okay,
You
go
put
ahead.
me on the spot right
do
there.
apologize.
I have it right on my desk. I'm some strange name American man.
Okay.
But you know, I picked up the book the other day, and I was fascinated by the subject, just the topic. How do you measure your life?
Right.
It had a whole lot to do. He's talking about finding your purpose and talking about your spiritual health.
Right.
And that is why I was very interested in that aspect of being fit and wondering who is dealing with that aspect in the UB-FIT program. Your spiritual health, because your spiritual health, sometimes that dictates where you go in other areas, eh?
Right.
Where, how you run your business, how you run your personal life, how you deal with those two boys, and in your case, how do you deal with your wife or your significant other,
Or my daughter.
or your daughter?
Yeah.
Your spiritual life is extremely important, isn't
Right.
it?
It is.
Yes, you have to have a center. You have to
The
have,
center, yes.
For me, it's God. My belief in Jesus
Absolutely.
Christ. I go to Epic Church. My pastors are LaQuint Bethel and Rosemary Bethel, and they always
Liquid Church?
no Epic Church.
Epic Church,
Yes,
okay.
Epic Church. And we talk
Where's
about it's right in the plaza where Mario's Bowling is, next to End Zone.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Epic Church?
Epic Church. It's
Okay.
Epic. You need to come visit.
All
But
sorts
they always
of-
talk about
I see all kind of names of churches these days. Charisma Church. I throw that in for my friend who started Charisma Church the
Charisma
other day.
Church.
And we're talking about Epic Church. But anyway, go
yes,
ahead.
no, but you have to know that you have hope, and that's found in God. You cannot do this life on your own. You can try, you can do all the quick fixes, but at the end of the day, there's a gap in everybody. I believe, this is my personal belief, that you need to have filled by God. The Word of God strengthens you and guides you, and that's a part of living a full life, a spiritually balanced life, as well as a physically balanced life. You know, you have to have it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mentioned that on New Year's Eve, very near to midnight, that if you are able to find the center, then you can take care of the circumference.
There's hope.
Because people who did geometry would know that in order to find the circumference, you need to find the center.
That's right.
And the center, you say, is God.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I do believe that.
So you can find everything around you, the circumference, if you find the center.
Agreed.
You are into all sorts of, Ethan, you are into all sorts of ways of getting your body fit.
Right.
Let's talk about healthy eating, what
Yeah.
you consume.
Oh, man.
And because you are
What you eat.
what you eat.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so you can participate in UB-FIT, and then you go away from the program, and you consume all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's speak to that.
I saw a saying that, as you said, that made me smile. You are what you eat. So make sure that you're not cheap, fast, or fake.
Cheap.
Fast or fake.
Okay.
Because so many of us eat cheap food, fast food, and fake food. all right, when we look at food. And the thing is, the incredible thing is that Charles Johnson, in his talk on sustainable nutrition, talks about what the difference between real food and fake food. And so once you define real food, and real food really is defined as food that has one ingredient is real food. You know, when you buy something at the food store, you look on the back. If you do look on the back and you see the list of ingredients, if it has more than one, it's not real food. And so when you think about the food that has one ingredient, fish, lean meat, you know, eggs. But when you look at it, those packaged things, those are all processed, man. And so we live in a microwave society where we want everything now, and so we buy everything packaged and processed, and we get fast food. But what that's doing is that it's not giving us the nutritional content that we need, and so our bodies are incapable of doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is living the fullest life that we can. And so it prevents you from really functioning at an optimum level if you have a poor diet and nutrition. And really that's the foundation. I mean, you can work out, you can run a 5K, a 10K, you can do UB-FIT every year, but if your nutrition is off, you know, you're not gonna really get to where you need to be.
You must be well fed.
Yes.
And well fed doesn't mean eating a whole lot of food.
Right. Yeah. Well fed means, you know, you have to have a balance. Like I tell people all the time, I tell my clients all the time, first of all, there's a difference between eating healthy and eating for your goal. Eating healthy is this broad, right? Eating for your goal is this here. And so one of the first things that we do as Bahamians when we decide that we want to eat healthy, what do? You get rid of the carbs, you get rid of the rice and the potato salad and the macaroni and all this stuff, and then we replace it with salad, and we start buying fried stuff and we bake and boil everything, and then we say, okay, well, this is healthy. Well, that could be a version of healthy, but depending on what your goal is, that may not be the best option for you at the time, because it may not be sustainable for you to go from peas and rice, macaroni, potato salad, fried chicken, barbecue ribs, to a piece of baked chicken breast and salad indefinitely. And so one of the things is that we teach our clients through the Jumpstart program that we'll be running for the 12 weeks to wellness is how to make those small but very important changes to your daily routine. And so let's start off by, before we even start talking about doing salads and meal plans and just shake it, that let's look at what we eat first, because a lot of us don't really know what we eat. And so one of the techniques that we use is let's do a food journal. Let's see what it is that we're consuming, and let's calculate how much calories that is, so we have some sort of baseline measurement and we know what we're improving.
Very good. Let's take a final break here, and this is an interesting program with Ethan Quant and Candace Eldon.